Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Oneg Shabbat. What an exciting week it was here at Gurwin as the vaccine came after the long anticipation, and many of our residents and staff were able to get the vaccine. Hopefully, this is the beginning of the end of the terrible pandemic, and we can all get on with our lives in the way we enjoy the most. Hopefully, everyone who took the vaccine is feeling well. I know I'm feeling well. I took it myself, and hopefully we have only a limited amount of Oneg Shabbat on the television set, virtual. I hope, I'm counting down the weeks to be able to join together for an in-person Oneg Shabbat. I'm sure it will be a tremendous event when we have it together, celebrating with everyone. But until then, we'll continue what we do, and hopefully give everyone a nice weekend and a good Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Ashoreis, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom aleichem malachei ashoreis malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says Chem l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In this week's Torah portion, we continue the story about Joseph and his brothers. And finally, the brothers come down to Egypt, and they're confronted with Joseph, who they don't recognize their brother they haven't seen in so many years since they sold him from their father so many years ago. And finally, the climax is coming when Joseph traps the brothers and he says they have to stay his slaves. And finally, Judah, the brother Yehuda, gets up and says, you can't do this to us, you can't do this to our father. All the pain and suffering our father's been through our whole life, you can't possibly keep us as slaves, he'll lose the rest of his sons. And then Joseph reveals himself and says, I'm your brother Joseph. And where were you years ago? You're so concerned about our father's welfare. Where were you concerned about our father's welfare so many years ago when you sold me? And what's noted by the commentaries is this is the ultimate, I guess the best way to say it is the ultimate lesson that someone gets learned is basically don't be a hypocrite in life. You're complaining now is saying, well, our father, we care about our father so much. How can we stay slaves to you in Egypt? Our father lives so many miles away. Joseph says, yes, but you didn't care about our father years ago. You didn't care about our father when you sold me. So admit to your mistake and don't be a hypocrite in life. This is a very important lesson that we all make mistakes in life. Everybody does. And it's important to own up to the mistakes we make and not see ourselves as hypocrite, because we may not have somebody pointing out to us that we're hypocritical all the time. Like Joseph to his brothers, we have to be aware of our own actions in order that our own actions don't reflect this hypocrisy. Chadodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Chadodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmiyahanu kel hamyuchad. Hashem echad ushmo echad. Shemo seferes v'lesila lechadodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Likras Shabbos lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habiracha meirosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat chila lechadodi likras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela yamin usmo tifrotzi Yes Hashem taritzi al yad ben yishai beis alachmi Karva el nafshi giyala lecha dodi lekras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela boi b'shalom ateres bala Gamberi na'uvet sahala tochem uneyam segula Boi kala lecha dodi likras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabilam. What's interesting to note as the story continues to unfold in Egypt is that Joseph does not have any hard feelings towards his brother. His brothers are quite surprised. Imagine you sold your own sibling years ago and you thought that he was dead or whatever happened to him, and you finally meet up with him years later and you obviously understand the mistake you made, and your brother seems like nothing has happened and he keeps repeating over and over saying, it's okay, it's okay. The brothers finally question him and say, how is it okay? We sold you. It can't be you don't hold any grudge against us. And he says, no, I actually don't hold a grudge. I've worked on myself for many years because you know what? This is all part of God's plan. Yes, you sold me to slavery, but through slavery I managed to become the second most powerful person in the world. The land of Egypt was the most powerful land at the time, and second to Pharaoh was Joseph. And obviously it was part of God's plan. You should sell me, I should be at this place. Was now, when there's a famine, I could take care of you and our father and our family because I'm in such a position of power. And such an interesting point to reflect upon, that sometimes along the road things happen to us and we don't understand that it's all part of God's plan. Same thing, this message to all of us. We've gone through a long road, the pandemic. It was obviously all part of God's plan. And until we see the end of the plan, we won't really understand the whole plan the way through. And we may never understand why certain things happen to certain people. That's one of life's mysteries. Why do things happen to certain people? Why do bad things happen to good people? And so on and so forth. But we have to trust that God's watching over us, and it's all in His master plan. If we do that, we can live a life of happiness and serenity and success. Adon olam asher molach b'terem kol yitzir nevra liyez nasa b'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kechlos hakol levahado yimloch nora v'haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'sifara v'hu echad v'yein shenim Gam shilo lehachbira v'li reishis v'li sachlis v'lo v'hamisra v'hu keli v'chai goali V'zor chavli v'yez nasa v'hu nisi umanosli v'naz kosi v'yom ekra v'yahado avkid ruchi v'yez ishan v'yahira v'yim ruchi v'yasi ado shem li v'lo ira. Everyone should have a happy and healthy Shabbat, happy and healthy holiday season. We should see everybody next week.